with a fine record of 37 wins and no losses. This tremendous record represents the longest undefeated streak in boxing today, with 83 victories, no defeats.
This is scheduled for 10. It is another non-title bout. Julio Cesar Chavez and Marty Jakubowski. And here we go. Jakubowski, who's fought mostly out of the Midwest, has a reputation of being cocky. But when we asked him about that, he said, not for this fight. I'm not cocky. He did tell us he's less nervous for Chavez than for a club fighter. He said, much like Compass against Haugen, I have nothing to lose. But Chavez, as we said earlier, the complete package, generally starts out in deliberate fashion, working the body, accumulating punches, although he came out relatively fast against Hector Camacho.
Well, with Camacho, he really had something he wanted to prove. He wanted to dominate and do it in every round. He really wanted to stop him, but to Camacho's credit, he showed what he's made of. And this young fighter here, Jakubowski, is supposed to be extremely quick and elusive, gets out of the way very quickly, but we're going to see what his chin is like in a little while, I'm sure.
Well, Jakubowski said, I'm not going to try to punch with him. He feels that Chavez is not in the greatest shape.
I can't tell you how many fighters
have said that.
have laid on the canvas rethinking that thought.
Right.
I mean, he's always coming in. He's got a bad back. He's got a bad knee. His hand's hurting him. He's just had the flu, and he knocks everybody out. He's got maybe one of the longest streaks going that I can remember in boxing.
Punishing, almost surgical-like with his pinpoint accuracy, precision, vicious right hand. Talking about the Chavez legendary left hook. Always coming forward, relentless. Very economical.
Showing a good jab, a lot of movement, which we expected from him. He's not going to stand in front of Chavez. And Chavez doing his usual, slow, working in, walking. He'll eventually start to unload a few to the body, work his way up to the head, and see what the young fighter has.
Jakubowski surviving a near-fatal gang stabbing back on the 4th of July of 1988. Told he would never box again. It was at a carnival disrupted by street gangs. He was running when panic broke out. He got stabbed in the back, which punctured a lung. And prior to the stabbing, he had run up 9 straight wins, and between fights attended Purdue University at Calumet with a grade point average of 3.9. So, and you know, in talking with him yesterday, very nice young man and a bright kid.
That was an awful lot of information to get into one sentence. And he went through 3 different things there.
Not easy, Purdy.
Well, nothing new here, is there, Bobby? Just the relentless chase by Chavez, just waiting to put in a few little body shots to remind him of what's coming. And Jakubowski's defense, he's boxing nicely, he's jabbing, he's doing what he wants, he has no idea what's in store for him.
Not that it'll matter in the long run. He's actually winning the round, Jakubowski, with a constantly good scoring jab and a little movement. His defense isn't too bad. He seems to be able to see the punches well, but how long we can run and move, how much energy that it takes, and you know about Chavez, he only gets stronger and better as the fight goes on.
In Chavez's corner, he said, don't let this guy get big. I mean, they almost conceded that he lost that first round, and he said, don't let him get big. Get right on him. Look at this. He just got right on. He just did what they told him. I said, okay, now close the distance and get on. Close the distance was the word that they wanted to have.
When we were talking with Jakubowski yesterday, he said he's going to look at it as 10 3-minute fights. And his corner just told him, you won the first fight, you won the first fight, there's 9 more, go get them.
He said, the good news is you won the first fight. The bad news is there's 9 more of those.
And it's against Chavez. Jakubowski fighting for the 16th time this year. He said, look out, I know nobody knows me, but I'll do my best to screw up that February 20th card. You can't knock his courage, but the knockout records speak for themselves. 68 for Chavez, 8 for Jakubowski.
And he just learned the terrible lesson, what happens when you try to jab and you don't pull back that jab with Chavez. Chavez will cross with a right in a minute.
Chavez's punches are also so damaging. I don't think that Jakubowski's ever been exposed to a half the puncher and the damaging type of blows that he's going to be receiving tonight.
Yeah, that's a quality that we spoke of earlier, Bobby, that guys get in with you and they don't realize the difference in quality of opponents in punching. When you get in with a guy like this, everything hurts. It hurts through the shoulder, hurts when it hits you on the gloves.
Combination by Jakubowski, but just hitting the gloves of Chavez. Jakubowski says, I don't want to tell my grandchildren sitting on my lap someday I gave up 6 pounds and took Chavez the distance. He says, that's the wrong version of the story. In my version, I win.
Well, he can still tell his kids that. Chavez so used to guys running away from him. This is what he gets all the time. That's why the fight with Norris would be interesting, and Pernell Whitaker would be interesting, and Greg Haugen. Whoa, nice right hand.
I'll tell you what, if Chavez ever does get in the ring with both Whitaker and Norris, and if he could beat them both, he could run for president of the entire world.
At least south of the border all the way down to Argentina. He is the man.
Well, Steve Barhood raised a good question. Should Chavez get by Haugen, then Norris, then Sweet Pea Whitaker, and hit the century mark in terms of victories? Could he be called the best of all time someday?
Well, certainly in his weight he is.
No question about that. Final 20 seconds of the second.
Jakubowski just took a beautiful right hand dead on the button and kind of waved Chavez in as if to say, that wasn't so big.
They make them tough in Whiting, Indiana. Jakubowski has fought mostly out of the Midwest as we head for the bell.
His plan is to box. His plan is to stay away from him, not getting a punch out, but you just can't avoid it with Chavez.
Purdy making reference to the fact that Jakubowski attends part-time Purdue University in Calumet. And interesting, Julio Cesar Chavez electing to stand between both rounds. And he seems extremely comfortable and relaxed, talking to fans, smiling in the corner.
Well, he doesn't figure to be here long, so why sit down and dirty his pants? He's got beautiful, clean pants on.
Is that it? Round 3, it is scheduled for 10, non-title bout, super lightweights. Julio Cesar Chavez in the white with the black trim. Jakubowski spinning Chavez around. Carlos Padilla didn't like it.
Thing you'll rarely see for Chavez to let a guy spin him out of a corner. Ooh.
Starting to work that body now with that left hook, reaching around and banging him. He wants to take his legs away. After all, we've never seen the young man before. We don't know how long he can keep up that type of movement, but Chavez wants to stop the movement now.
The movement, the backpedaling continues by Jakubowski, but Chavez continues to land. Boring in is Chavez.
And now Jakubowski is getting an idea of what it feels like to be chased by a lion.
Chavez stalking Jakubowski.
If you don't have enough power to make Julio Cesar Chavez at least put his hands up when he comes in.
Very impressive combination there by Jakubowski.
But again, they don't hurt. They're quick, they're slappish, and he doesn't have the power to keep him off. Now, Terry Norris, on the other hand, possesses tremendous power. There is a fight.
That's got to be discouraging, Bobby, to a guy who's letting loose with probably all he's got, and it doesn't even affect Chavez. Yeah, I'm sure you know that feeling.
It is certainly disheartening, but it's something you got to deal with. You got to be ready to go the distance in that case.
Chavez, who just never stops coming forward. Chavez tuning up for his date with Greg Haugen. Final 10 seconds of the third. Greg Haugen, who says that he'll never fight anybody as strong as me, referring to Julio Cesar Chavez, but Haugen certainly had his hands full with Armando Campos earlier tonight. Chavez once again barreling in on Jakubowski. Round 4. Haugen said, I'll make Chavez start thinking twice about coming in on me. Well, we'll see.
something he makes a good point about. He's got to use a hard jab and a good, powerful right hand to keep Chavez off, if that's possible, and that's what he's been working on.
All credit to Marty Jakubowski. He's trying. He's just that his punches don't have that kind of effect on Chavez. Chavez has walked right through just about everybody that he's fought, and he's doing it again here. He's just walking through this guy.
Besides his good legs, the kid has pretty decent eyes, sees punches, blocks them well, and he steps and spins around. He's got potential if he put together with the right set of fights to maybe go on and do something.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's got potential to do well. I think he's overmatched here by a mile.
I can see where he's had success on the club circuit. Nice machine gun-like combination, but, you know, those punches don't have much effect against a guy like Chavez. But on the Midwest club circuit, I can see where he could be effective. He's 37-0. Jakubowski. Look out. Got to get out of that corner. The crowd responding to everything by Chavez.
And showing some good heart, waving him on and then firing the right hand of his own.
Yeah, good heart on Marty Jakubowski. Good heart.
And a pretty darn good chin.
So far, I'd say it's been a pleasant surprise, gentlemen.
I don't think there's any question. A lot of people thought this would end early, given even with the history of Chavez, gets off to the deliberate starts. But a very game Marty Jakubowski. No knockdowns in the fight. Not much blood. Combination to the head by Jakubowski. But that's like hitting a rock. It's like hitting granite.
Cuts are beginning to open up. It's incredible the destruction that Chavez does with such few punches.
Chavez generally gets a cut on the bridge of the nose. Never seems to affect him, though.
No, but look at the face of Marty. He's already got a cut over the right eye, and he's just all red. It's amazing how much damage he does to the facial tissue.
As you used to say, it's getting red and ugly.
That was a nice hard right hand. Another right hand by Chavez. Chavez stepping it up.
Jakubowski, if I'm not mistaken, saying something to Chavez.
In there so that he will rest easier with his bad back. Of course, you don't see it in his fighting. Boy, I mean, he fights like he hasn't got anything wrong with his back.
And now he's on the march. Chavez applying the pressure. But the jabs of Jakubowski trying to keep his distance. Chavez swarming. Jakubowski, though, fighting back and says, come on in. He invites him. That could be a mistake against this guy.
Yeah, but it gladdens your heart to see a kid that's come in here to take his moment and is fighting with everything he's got. He may not be near as good as Chavez, but boy, he's in there and he's fighting hard. All credit to him.
He's doing himself proud. He's not making any bad showing here. But the blows are starting to tell, the experience, the skill, it's just all coming to a slow destruction.
Yeah, he has now got his hands very, very low. The body punches, Chavez's specialty, have taken their mark.
Look out, here comes Chavez again.
He didn't want to hit him anymore. Chavez just said to the referee, you want me to continue to hit him? He just said to him, you want me to hit him some more?
But Jakubowski just standing there and taking it, and then he's hitting back.
Somehow being a boxer and a humanitarian is a contradiction of phrases.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Jakubowski in dire trouble. This could be it. But somehow he's staying on his feet. Tremendous heart by Jakubowski midway through the fifth. And now back comes Jakubowski and partially stunning Chavez.
Stunning may be too hard a word.
Yeah, I think it was a smile.
Surprise may be a word that's a little bit more fit than
Well,
stunning.
stunned, surprise, it's all the same to me.
Stunning in boxing is a different phrase where you get all like blinky-eyed.
Kind of like if he snuck up on him in the dark and maybe yelled in his ear.
It said boo. The guy said, oh, what a surprise.
Gee, give the kid a break.
I think he's doing wonderfully well. I mean, can go home and tell his kids he did fight the great Chavez, and he lasted this many rounds.
Well, how would you like to be Jakubowski? You got to fight Chavez, and on top of that, you know that Chavez slept on the floor the night before.
Well, it's nothing compared to getting stabbed in the ribs and puncturing your... I don't want you to say that all over again.
No, I won't.
I didn't want to hear that the first time.
That was a long dissertation. But that hardens a fighter, I would say, when you sleep on the floor the night before.
Actually, I sleep on the floor many times, but it helps my back, too.
Combination to the head by Chavez.
And that is almost the end.
Yep.
That is very close to the end here. I think everybody in that ring, all three people want to quit right now.
I think he genuinely doesn't want to hurt the kid.
Yeah, I think he was hoping that everybody would mercifully call a halt to this between rounds, but tough kid.
Round 6, scheduled for 10. At one point, there's Chavez with a lunging right, and now Carlos Padilla throws it off, and Jakubowski is really upset. Blood streaking from the left side of Jakubowski, and he is really miffed that Carlos Padilla stopped the fight. Last round, Chavez urging Padilla to stop the fight.
I think it was well done.
And Chavez going, what do you want me to do? I don't want to hurt the kid. I don't want to punish him anymore. Now he's blowing kisses to the crowd. Chavez looking very fresh.
He always looks fresh after a workout. This is like nothing to him. I mean, it is so easy for him to take these fights. That's why he fights every 4 or 5 weeks. He just keeps in shape. That's his method of training. But boy, those body attacks, Bobby.
Yeah.
You had to teach a young boxer what the element of a body attack. You'd have to show him films of this guy.
I've said it time and time again. He goes to the body and the head in combination better than any fighter I've ever seen.
Well, it's not uncommon for Chavez to take non-title fights such as this one, although in most cases he fights them in Mexico, away from the spotlight. Tonight he gave young Marty Jakubowski a place in the sun. A chance to strut his stuff a little bit. But in the end, it's Chavez.
All right, usually you see some guy stop the fight and say he shouldn't stop the fight. Now, let's take a look at why Cortez thought this fight should be stopped. And these are clean shots that hurt. Now, that Padilla, the referee, has been looking very closely. Good chopping right hand. Another one right on the mark. Another one right on the mark. And you see he's folding off. It looks like Marty's just going to fold into the canvas, and he didn't want him to get hit anymore. Let's take a look at it from here.
I think personally that maybe Padilla was just giving in to the wishes of Chavez. You know, he's showing him that, listen, I can hurt this kid whenever I want to. Why don't you save him? You know, let him go home and fight another day. And that may be what it was.
2 big right hands from a guy like Chavez is enough to convince any referee, no matter the most cold-blooded of them. Let's take a look. Just watch the right hand. Just concentrate on the right hand and the jaw and the way he takes it. Look, 1, he's sliding over. Now you can see he's almost out. 2, he's really gone on the way. 1 more and he's planted into the canvas. Thank goodness they didn't give it to him. I think that's great. I think that's just the way it should be.
Padilla, one of the best referees in the world, one of the most respected. You have to respect his view of the action. Because even though Jakubowski was very courageous, he was taking a lot of punishment from this man, Julio Cesar Chavez. Let's get the official announcement from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 18 seconds. In round number 6, the referee in charge, Carlos Padilla, stops the contest. Winner by way of technical knockout, el gran campeón mexicano, Julio Cesar Chavez.